Hey, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is Katie Weaver, and I'm here with my co-anchor and partner in crime and sister, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Great to be here.
Yeah, how are
Um,
you?
I'm doing really well. I'm enjoying my new desk. I got a new desk for my birthday. My new
Yes.
old desk, as you
Yeah.
know, it is this pretty little, it's called a spinet desk. It's a little antique desk that's 2 levels, and it just works for my, like my little mini recording studio so much better. And I even got a sound screen that goes in front of me, which is really interesting. I'm playing around with my positioning and stuff. When you do a podcast, you're always messing with your sound and your lighting. It just
Mhm.
never seems to be right. But
It's
that's
never
what
good
I've been
enough. Yeah.
right. That's what I've been doing. I've been really enjoying that because it's fun to try to make it better. I have a big rug coming that's going under here. One of my problems is that my house is hardwood, and
Hmm.
that's so hard to not be echoey. So
Hmm.
hard. So I'm putting a big, nice rug under this desk and then the sound screen in front of me. And I'm hoping maybe to pull some of the echo out. That's the
Nice.
plan anyway.
That sounds good. Well,
Yeah,
you sound good, and your desk is darling. We
it
had the
is.
privilege of going to go pick it up. We went on a birthday rescue mission for Rhonda since she's, still quarantined.
Yes.
And so it came from this really cool old antique store that we love. And my kids have never been in there before.
Oh,
And
haven't they?
so,
Oh my gosh, that's the
no. And
funnest
so,
place.
yeah. And so, of course, my kids were all home over the weekend for the holiday. So I was like, you guys have to come in the store. You will fall in love.
Oh
It
yeah.
is this it's called a Red Barn antique store, but it's not a barn.
It's the country store boutique is what it's called.
Okay. Oh, I call it the Red Barn.
I know.
I've always
That's
called
not
it the Red
really the
Barn.
name though.
It's this enormous ancient building, and the like, the floors are like I don't know how to describe it. Everything about this building is so old, and
Yeah.
we loved it. The kids loved it. They absolutely fell in love with all kinds of
Oh, I
things in
bet.
there, most especially the 2 cats.
Yes.
Our
The
2
storage
cats.
cats.
It's such an old building that, and it's monstrous, and there's 3 stories, and heating it, they have these giant old wood stoves to try and heat
Hmm.
it in winter, and it's still kinda chilly in there, but it's, and then there's these cats wandering around. It's just the most charming place, but the most hilarious part of this, there's a basement. Part of the basement does have antiques in it, and there's a sign at the top of the stairs that says, "If you are afraid of snakes, do not come into the basement." Oh, you. So, clearly, they must get some garter snakes down there in the
Yeah.
summertime, and
Yeah, I've been there many times. I've never
Mhm.
been in the basement. I appreciated the sign. I heeded the warning.
I have been in the basement multiple times. I'm not afraid of snakes, but, I've never seen one in there.
Haven't
But
you?
that
Oh, that's
sign just
funny.
killed me. I had to make all of my kids come and read this sign. Oh.
So funny. My friend Melanie owns this place, and
Mhm.
it's such a cool store, and I just love it.
Wonderful.
But yeah,
That
I've been really feeling, when you're young and you buy furniture, you buy the cheapest, whatever, have to put it together yourself with 900 Allen wrenches, kinds of stuff. And as I've gotten older, we've been slowly replacing the furniture in our house for a few years now with better stuff.
yeah.
And I decided that when it comes to like wooden furniture for desks and entertainment centers and things like that, I don't want to buy that crappy black and glass and whatever stuff anymore.
Mhm.
That I want to buy old, sturdy, solidly made antique kinds of
Yeah.
things. And so that's where the reason for this desk came, is that I had a giant desk in my office that was way too big, took up
Mhm.
like 2/3 of the room. And I don't need anywhere near that. I really just need a recording area.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about this and replacing my new-ish crappy furniture for better old stuff.
It's a good plan. I love it. Well,
Right?
it's a great desk, and I'm glad you had a good birthday.
Yes, I did. I had a great birthday. Really enjoyed it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I have a case today, a cold read for you.
Okay.
This is a listener suggestion. You guys, we have our new website, truecrimeparanormalpodcast.com, and there's a spot there at the bottom that you can suggest a case. And man, have you guys come through in spades.
Yes, so much.
So, yeah, I dug through the list and found a case that I wanted to present, and I've been researching it. So that's what I'm going to give to you today. So I'm going to present the case, and then Kristi's going to give us a cold read on, what she thinks happened here and where she thinks
Mhm.
this person has gone. So this is a guy named Bryce Laspia.
Okay.
Lapisa. Sorry, Lapisa.
The
Laspisa.
pizza. Okay.
Laspisa. Laspisa.
This
Okay.
pizza. Okay.
Yep, and he disappeared in August of 2013
Okay.
in California. So he graduated from Naperville High School in 2012. He was a football player, a baseball player, really athletic, smart kid, really had everything going for him. And his parents retired and they moved from Illinois. Oh, sorry, they had been in Illinois to Laguna Niguel, California.
Mm.
And a short time after that, he moved to Chico, California. Chico was
Okay.
about 450 miles away from his folks.
Oh,
So
wow.
he moved there. He was starting his sophomore year at Sierra College. He was a graphic and industrial design major and just was
Mm.
doing awesome.
Yeah.
His roommate was a good friend of his. He had a beautiful girlfriend named Kim that he was really close to. But some things shifted for him the week of the 30th of August. He was just not acting like himself. He was just off, out of sorts, just acting weird. And nobody was quite sure what was going on. On the 26th of August, this is a Monday, first day of the semester, and Kim thought he was acting erratically. She thought he was
Mm.
acting like just not himself. And
Mhm.
she discovered that he had taken a pill for ADHD, but he doesn't have an ADHD prescription.
Ooh.
He took a pill that belonged to someone else, Vyvanse.
5 ants.
Vyvanse.
Mhm.
To help him stay awake, he was playing video games all night with his roommate, and he had taken this pill. Now, his roommate says that he's been drinking a lot more than normal as well. So,
Mhm.
just not himself. So, in the days that followed, things just get worse. He gave away a pair of diamond earrings that his mother had given to him
Mhm.
and some other possessions. He gave someone his Xbox, which was really
Mm.
weird. He was a gamer and gave away his Xbox. And then he broke up with Kim out of the blue.
Mm.
So everything just doesn't make any sense. Then on the 28th, he shows up at her house. So again, this is in the span of like 3 days.
Yeah.
He shows up at her house and then he calls his mom and says he's at Kim's house and she won't give him back his car keys. And so
Mm.
Kim gets on the phone and talks to his mom and says, "There's something wrong. I don't want to give him his keys because he's acting really weird. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't think he's safe. I don't think he should be driving."
Mhm.
And apparently, earlier that day, his roommate had also called his mother and told her that there was something wrong.
Mhm.
And so Bryce gets on the phone with his mom and tells her he's completely fine and he can leave Kim's. He's safe to drive. He's just going to go back to his apartment. So he convinces Kim, and mom convinces Kim, let's go ahead and give him his keys back. He's going to go back to his apartment. It's okay. And this is at 11:30 p.m. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, he does not go home. He gets on the I-5 and he starts driving towards his parents. Now, remember, they are 450 miles away. This isn't
Mm.
a short jaunt.
No.
So at 1 a.m., Karen misses a call from his phone. And at this point, his parents are beside themselves. Something is way off. He's acting really weird, but he's headed towards them. I think they're just kind of thinking, we're just going to keep, encouraging him and get him home, and then we'll figure out what in the hell's going on.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, she misses a call from him at 1 a.m. And at that point, they believe he was about an hour away from his apartment. A few hours later in the morning at 11 a.m., they get a voicemail from him He used their credit card because he ran out of gas in Kern County and put $20 worth of fuel on their credit card. So he's making his way towards them.
Mhm.
So she wanted him to come to their house right away, come straight there. And he said he would, and he wanted to talk to her, but after hours and hours, he hadn't showed up.
Mhm.
So she calls the tire shop where he had gotten fuel, and one of their employees actually goes out to look for him. And they discover he's sitting in the same spot that he was when they helped him. He hasn't moved.
Oh my gosh.
And he's sitting in the car. The employee says his eyes were a bit red, but other than that, he seemed fine. He says he's fine. He said he was just getting some rest. And so they said, okay, fine, and left him there. So about 12:30 p.m., she speaks to Bryce, and he says that he'll be at their house by about 3 p.m. that afternoon. But 6 hours later, he's still not home, and he's not answering the phone.
Mm.
And his parents are frantic at this point, and they report him missing. So the California Highway Patrol find him, and he's sitting in his car in a little town called Buttonwillow. And so they had already known from talking to his parents that he was acting erratically. So they go ahead and search the car. They're looking for drugs, for alcohol, for something. Nothing. There's no drugs. There's
Mhm.
no alcohol in the car. He passes a field sobriety test. He seems fine. And he tells them he's fine. And he hadn't actually broken the law or done anything wrong. So the
Right.
California Highway Patrol just leave him in his car and ask him to please call his mother.
Mhm.
So finally at 11 p.m., he calls her. So now this has been going on for 24 hours, this whole
Yeah.
saga.
Mm.
He gets some more fuel and he buys a drink. About 2 a.m., he calls his mom again. He tells her he got off the I-5 for a little while, but now has gotten back on and he's on his way to her house. Just a few minutes pass and he calls her again to say he's no longer on the I-5, that he needed to pull over and get some sleep. And, as far as his mother knows at that point, he'd been awake for 48 hours.
Ugh.
So she was actually really glad that he was going to get some sleep because she was really worried about what was happening here, you know.
Right.
But he didn't pull over and get some sleep. He drove another hour and a half to a place called Castaic Lake. Castaic Lake.
Mhm.
And so sometime between 4:20 a.m. and 5:15 a.m., his car is found abandoned by Castaic Lake by law enforcement who had arrived there for a training exercise. So the lake's about 2 hours from his parents' house. They
Okay.
found the vehicle 15 feet down a ravine on the passenger side. So it was at the bottom of a 25-foot embankment. It was across from the lake's main boat access road. The back window was broken out, and the police think that he broke out the back window to get out of the car. There was a little bit of blood in the car, but it wasn't a lot, so they didn't really think he'd suffered a serious injury. But he had left the scene. He left all of his belongings in the car. His clothes were in the trunk. His phone and laptop and wallet were in the car. His bag was on the back seat. He seemed to have left everything.
Mhm.
Police did obtain some closed caption TV footage near the area that showed him at 2:15 driving along Lake Hughes Road near Castaic Lake. They drove up the same road again just before 4:30 p.m. The track pattern from the embankment down to the bank led police to think that the car went down the bank at high speed and no brakes were used.
Yeah.
They conducted a thorough and extensive search of the area. They couldn't find him. Uh, they used dogs, helicopters, volunteers, scuba divers searched the lake. The lake's about 40 miles northwestern of downtown Los Angeles. They
Okay.
everything. They searched everything, and just with absolutely nothing to go on. There was one spot where the dogs picked up a scent near a place called Government Cove. They tracked a path that suggested that maybe he got out of there and walked near to a gas station or near a gas station, but nobody had ever seen him. Then on the 4th of September 2013, so this is a little bit later. I mean, not very, we're only talking, less than a month.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing all of this searching. A jogger sees a brush fire there and on Lake Hughes Road, right near Castaic, where all of this happened. And firefighters show up to tackle the brush fire and discover that the fire was a burning body. So the bodies burned too badly to immediately identify the person's sex or identity. And so, his family's just on pins and needles. And after an autopsy reveals that it was not Bryce.
Yeah.
It was someone who was a man that was older than him, named Lamondre Dion Miles, who had been shot several times in the torso, and his body had been dumped there and set on fire. And that was a murder.
Unrelated. Yeah, unrelated.
Yeah, unrelated.
Not related.
Yeah. So once they determined the body's not Bryce's, they called the search off. They said they've pretty much exhausted the whole area. They found nothing. They're just at a standstill. They just don't know where he's gone or what's happened. So his parents, of course, have searched tirelessly for him, and they're still hoping that he shows up. They did hire a private investigator, but they pretty much turned up nothing. They've had a lot of tips and sightings, possible sightings of their son in the area, but nothing that has borne any fruit whatsoever. So up to this point, nothing. There have been multiple sightings of people seeing a redheaded kid about his age, and that's one thing. He has bright red hair. 5 feet 11 inches 11 or 5 feet 11 inches tall, 100 with red hair and blue eyes. And he has a tattoo of a Taurus bull head with a Roman numeral on his left shoulder. And there's been multiple sightings at homeless shelters of a young man with red hair and blue eyes. But every time they try and run one of those leads down, it turns out to not be him.
Yeah.
So
it's not him.
Recently, there was a rumor, in 2019, there was a rumor going around on the internet that he is living in Boston and that a detective on the case knows about it. His family, they have a Facebook group called Find Bryce Laspisa and Laspisa. Maybe I'm going to say it like that. Anyway, his family reports that that is absolutely not true. No detective on the case is aware of his location or if he's alive or dead. And, that they have no idea who started that rumor, but it's really harmful to their case and really bothersome, that's those kinds of things are happening. But anyway, they are still really actively searching and hoping that people will, watch for their son and look at his picture and see if that looks like somebody that they've seen, because he clearly wasn't himself, when he disappeared. And so one thing they do is they act for random acts of kindness in their son's name.
Oh, that's really cool.
Really sweet, because he was a really generous, giving kid that would do nice things for other people constantly, for his family and everybody around him. So that's what they've done. They ask for random acts of kindness in Bryce's name. But at any rate, that's the whole case. There's really nothing else to go on. That's what happened. And his family still has no clue where this kid is, if he's alive or dead, and really what happened.
So sad. Wow. Well, he was having a psychotic break. Yeah. And I do feel that he tried some self-medication with the alcohol and with the Vyvanse. He knew something was wrong with him, but he didn't know what. Something just didn't feel right. I feel like after the car accident, I do feel like the car accident was an attempt at suicide. I feel like he was trying to kill himself. It was not successful. I feel like he got up on the road and that he hitchhiked and got into a car and that he was taken somewhere else. I do feel that he has killed himself, that he is gone. I don't feel like any of these sightings are him. I feel like he rode in a car with some people for a while, but he was really scary and acting weird. And they finally just kicked him out in the middle of nowhere. He didn't even know where he was. I feel like he wandered around alone for a while. But I hate to, I guess I'm not going to give it. I have the means of suicide, but I'm not going to share it because I just don't know if that's really all that beneficial. But I do feel that um, within just a couple of days of that car accident, he did take his own life, and that he was experiencing the onset of a psychotic disorder, and that he
Mhm.
just really he did not know what was wrong with him. He didn't know why he was like this. He was trying to get help. He was trying to do what he needed to do for himself. He knew he should get home, but he also didn't really even know how to get home.
Mhm.
That's he kept stopping, and he was so confused, and I feel like
Mhm.
he was hallucinating some of the time. And um but yeah, he wasn't under the influence of anything, and he was
Yeah.
able to appear at least somewhat with it.
Mhm.
But I feel like he really, the longer he went, the more he lost his grip on reality.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, what a sad case, really.
So sad. Oh my gosh.
Yep, his poor dang family.
Yeah. Awful to be that far away from him and have something like that happen.
Right, and I'm sure that they just probably fought over and over with themselves about, "Do we try and get to him? No, because he's coming to us." And he
Right. Well,
covered
and
pretty well. I mean, he'd get on the phone and act pretty normal, and
right.
make them think, "Okay, he really is okay. He can get
He
here."
was just trying to cover and trying to get himself
Mhm.
there. He
Yeah.
knew something wasn't right. But at the
Mhm.
same time, had they tried to come and find him, I don't think they would have, because I think he was taking weird wandering routes and,
Mhm.
stopping for hours and doing all this weird stuff they did. I don't think they would have found him.
I don't either, and yeah, but I keep feeling like they mom and dad had multiple conversations. "I'm getting in the car. No, let's wait. No, I'm gonna," because,
Right.
they were
Not knowing what's the right thing to do here.
yeah, well, and of course, they
Yeah.
had been in contact with ISP,
Yeah.
or CSP,
Yeah.
trying to, trying to, get some help. It's really too bad that, the police hadn't been able to detain him, you know?
Right.
Again, he wasn't really they had no reason to, he wasn't
No, I mean, there was nothing they could do. He didn't give them a reason to detain him.
Mhm.
That's what's really hard with a mental health break like this
Yeah,
is that, unless you're threatening yourself or somebody else, the police really cannot do anything. You have
right.
rights, and he's an adult, and, you
When
know,
he has the right to go home or not, or contact his mom
right.
or not, he doesn't have to do anything. Yeah,
Right, exactly, exactly, and that's the hard part. I mean,
yeah,
those rules are there for our protection,
mhm,
but they also mean that in cases like this, somebody might not get help when they need it, but you can't e how are you to know?
yeah, you can't. No.
No.
Well, shoot, that is a sad one, and so much love to his family, and hope that at some point they will get that closure that they need because,
I feel like his body has been found, it just hasn't been identified as him. I feel like it's a suicide that was found. I keep seeing lots and lots of trees, and it's a small rural place, and this is an unidentified body, but I do feel his body has actually already been found.
oh, good. Hopefully, it'll make it through forensics. That's one thing that we've learned through doing a lot of the true crime work is sometimes these bodies will be found in rural areas, and they don't make it through the forensics for years,
Yeah,
years and years. There was a body in here in Idaho that was found in 2012 that was just recently identified.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because rural areas don't have the forensics to do it themselves. And
No,
larger areas are so overwhelmed with the amount of forensics that they have to do that sometimes some of these John Does and Jane Does will take a back seat for a long time. And
right,
so,
right.
well,
And I feel like this is one of those situations, but I do feel eventually he will be identified,
mhm,
and at least
well,
give
good.
his family some closure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, well, there you have it. That is the case of Bryce. Well, Kristi, thank you very much for that. You guys, we will be back this week on Wednesday night for our live stream and case updates. And then we'll be back
Mhm.
Thursday night, of course, for the Psychic Hour. So,
Yes.
the 5 great episodes from us this week, of course. And as always, like and subscribe, share if you feel drawn. Come join our Facebook page and our Facebook group, True Crime Paranormal Discussion Group. It's where we talk about cases and share stuff. And
Mhm.
we have fun stuff going on this week because
We
we
do.
are nearing and nearly to a big milestone, and that is
Yeah.
30,000 podcast downloads.
Yeah.
We're also creeping right up on 3,000 YouTube subscribers. So
Here we are.
when we get to those numbers, we're going to give away some True Crime Paranormal t-shirts and celebrate.
Mm.
So it's all
Yeah,
good stuff.
that's big news for us. So you
Yeah.
wanna hang out and hear more about that.
Yeah, we're very excited. So thanks you all very, very much for being here. And of course, this has been True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Take care.
Thanks, guys.